close. So Janine, it's your first live interview. Here we go. So if we look at it, we may not get many people on, but you may get lots. So you got live and you watch them as they come in.
Okay, cool.
So for all those who aren't watching yet, yes, we know you're not watching. We can see that. Sue Franks here from Sue Franks Field to Ride. I'm here with the lovely Janine. She's one of my clients. And what we're going to start doing is introducing clients and people who ride with me. Hey, Christy, how you going? We're going to start introducing people to you that ride with me. Hey, Belinda. Hey, Tony Ernst. So you can actually see that these people are just like you. Hey, Jode, how you going? And you can start to get a feel that they all experience the same thing you do. Hey, Peter. Hey, Prue. How's that naughty kangaroo of yours? Hey, Joelle. Oh, hey, Warren Backhouse. How you going? So what we're going to do is I've got some questions, and as I'm not really Oprah, I'd like to be Oprah, I've got written down my questions so that we can just discuss this and have a talk to Janine and see where she's coming from with the riding. Hey, Jana. Hey, Amanda. Oh, how's Pep going? Righto. Leave a message. Hey, Karen. And we'd better start because otherwise this is just going off. Okay, Janine, the first question is really obvious. How long have you been riding?
Well, I rode a lot when I was a little kid. A lot of bareback and scrub bushing, bush bashing like lots of people do, I suppose, but no formal education, which was probably to my detriment, as I've found out. Back to riding for the last 10 or 11 years, and serious with Sue for the last probably 2 years. So, yeah.
So obviously it's part of your psyche. It's part of who you are,
definitely.
this riding. Yeah. That's awesome because that's what most of us will identify with. It's the same as all of us. So, I mean, you see we've got more watching. Hey, Sean. Hey, Katie. Who's this here?
Elodie.
Elodie. What an interesting name. Okay, so, big question. This is the really big one. Why do you ride?
Why do I ride? I ride because, well, as a kid, I always loved horses and we always had them. But it makes me feel free. It makes me feel like who I really am.
Cool. That is a really cool answer. Who you really are. So that's your authentic self, is you on the horse.
Definitely, yeah.
That's great. So that also tells us what you get out of riding. That was my next question. What do you get out of riding?
Well, yeah, I guess because you have that sense of freedom, you are who you are meant to be. You're never putting on an act with your horse because they know when you're bullshitting or lying to them, or if you're not feeling so confident, they definitely pick that up. But what do I get out of it? Well, it's actually giving me a lot of self-discipline and a lot of self-confidence.
Good, yeah, and it should grow us as people and confidence. That leads me to the next question. So with your riding, how does it affect your relationships? And by that, I mean not just your relationship with me or other riding buddies. How does this affect your relationship inside and out of your family?
Oh, that is a good question. But for me personally, it actually backs up. I have 4 boys. Lucky me, I know. But it actually backs up a lot of my parenting skills, because if you say you're going to do something or you make a rule, you must stick to it. So therefore you do the same with your horses. If you don't, you become a very ineffectual rider and your horse just does whatever the hell it wants to do because it doesn't have any clear set of rules. So yeah, it's actually helped with my parenting, and my husband quite often says to me, "You're trying that horse shit out on me, aren't you?" And Sue's heard him say that. So that's a true thing.
Yeah, so a lot of you that are watching would probably identify with that too. We've just done a clinic today and been riding all day, so that's why we're probably not looking at our most beautiful best.
Yeah.
So, and Jenny's probably going to have to go home to her husband and he's going to say, "You're trying that horse riding stuff out on me again." Okay, so that's how it affects your family. How does riding affect your horse friendships? Do you have horse friendships that are lasting? Are they fleeting? What do you find your friendships in the horse world are like?
Well, I've been really lucky because, as I said before, I've been riding with Sue for about 2 years, maybe a little longer. A lot of the girls that I've met in that time would become not just riding buddies, but actual friends in our real life, away from our horses, and we do other things together. It's not just about riding, although that is like a common interest, and I guess that's why you make friends with people in the first place. You have common interests, but and I find there've been lasting friendships, and I've met some beautiful people. I know people always talk about how shonky the horse world is, but I have been extremely blessed and lucky to have met some great people, and I hope that continues.
Actually, you're right. I felt the same thing. I think it's what you look for in the horse world, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's definitely shonky people in all forms of life. You know, cars, dogs, cats, whatever, buying houses. So it's the same in all. There's honest people that are authentic and true to themselves, and I think how I find it is that we tend to attract like.
Yeah, like attracts like.
Yeah, so if you're a good person, hopefully you attract. Yeah. So yes, this is instant karma here, people. Hey Melissa, hey Faye, hey Jodie's come back on there. Yeah. So hey Mary,
Hey, Mary, I know you too, Mary.
Yeah. So that's it. So what positives are you getting from your writing at the moment?
Definitely a lot of self-confidence, and that carries over not just from my writing but into my other life as well, because I think as a person of getting into my late 40s, I'm not going to say my age, but you lose confidence in your life when you get a little bit older, because you start feeling insecure about things that once you might have been really confident to do. But when you progress in your writing, that confidence comes back. You think, well, if I can handle a 500 kilo horse, or I can back a float into a really small space.
She can, folks. She should give lessons on float backing. The woman is amazing when it comes to backing floats.
So, you know, if you can do those things, well, it makes you a pretty confident person. And that's not a bad thing later in life, because I think a lot of people in their later years lose a lot of confidence, and that's really sad. So I hope it's helping my confidence, and I'm learning a new skill, and that's actually really good for your brain as you get older too.
Yeah, and that's what we've actually, if anyone's been watching what I've done or listening, the last few clinics we've been working on brains, like getting our brain, stretching our brain, stepping out the left side into the right side, being more creative with our writing, working on our balance, because I know you won't believe this, but myself, I'm on the far side of 42, even though I look gorgeous. So what we have to do is we also have to work on our balance and our confidence, because we're growing older and we have all this knowledge. So let's stay as healthy and fit and keep going. That's how I look at it. So
Definitely.
I get the positives out of it too.
It's expanding your skill set, and not just with your writing, but into other aspects of your life.
And so do you compete your horse?
I do, yeah.
Have you been competing him long?
No, I haven't actually, because my horse that I have, he was young. I got him as a yearling, and I've trained him and brought him along quite slowly, progressed him slowly. So before he was ready, I actually rode a friend's horse at a competition. I actually rode two of her horses in different competitions, and then I grew a set and hopped on my horse and competed him, and he actually surprised me, and he did quite well. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Cool. And folks, by growing a set, she means boobs. Right? We are girls and we are tough. So yeah. So that's really good. And why do you continue to compete?
Because there's always something that you can get out of every competition. So you might start off in the lower grades, and you might be there for a while, and that's okay. But every time that you compete, you get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then once you get to a certain stage, obviously you go up to the next level. So you might start in basic, and then you go to intro, and just work your way up.
So the other thing here, it's intro to basic, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Like a Western dressage here, she's doing her George Costanza act.
Yeah, opposites.
So the other thing with that is, I find when I compete, I don't know about you, but I find it's a gauge of where you are at your writing and where you are in your emotions at the time with your horse. Yeah. So competition is, to me, is also a rule of where I'm going to. It's not, winning is wonderful. And when people say they go there to make up numbers, they're fibbing, folks. They're fibbing. So yeah, it's not just that. It's about moving forward. So
well, the thing is, like, when you're under that pressure of competing, it's all the things that you've learned leading up to that. Does that just all go out the window just because you're a little bit nervous? So you have to try and. Sometimes it does. Let's not lie. That happens. That's happened to me before in a competition. But suddenly it's like a little light switch is on in the back of your head. It's happened to me at the start of a competition. Actually, I was so nervous that I could hardly ride. And then about a third of the way into it, I went, oh, I know this. I can do this. This is okay. And then suddenly the hands went down. The shoulders went back. The seat was much better. You know, as I said, I'm still in the early stages, but it just all started to gel and move together. So that's what happens. All of the things that you put in, that you've learnt for so long, actually all click into motion. It's like, gosh, I can't even think of the word, but it's like when you've trained for something so long, it just becomes a second nature.
it's true. It does. It's part of it. It's muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory. That was the word I was thinking of.
And so with that, why you're one of my first people we're going to interview is that you are one of the most consistently regular people in your learning process. So you have lessons regularly, you attend clinics regularly, and if I suggest you go to another clinician and take you with me, you'll come with me.
Definitely.
And try. So why do you do that?
Well, regular lessons, well, that's easy for me because I like to get into a routine. I'm a bit of a routine kind of person, and it takes away your excuse factor because, you know, for me, it's a Tuesday. Every Tuesday I have a lesson. So there's no excuses, and it's absolutely pelting down rain because I hate riding in the rain, and Sue knows that because I hate to get my hair wet. So it takes away the excuses. So you definitely have to ride one day a week. Once I've gotten that out of the way, the exercises and the things that we learn that week, I go away for the rest of the week and practice that, and hopefully, you know, turn it into something better. It keeps getting better and better and better. Then we have another lesson on Tuesday. No excuses. It's all getting done, and it just always gives me a timetable, something to stick to, a routine. My horse knows he's going to the lesson. I know we're going to the lesson. Yeah, definitely. It all gels with what we're doing.
And the clinics, do you get anything different from clinics than you get from the lessons?
Clinics are great because, one, you catch up with your friends, so it's a little social atmosphere. Two, sometimes the one-on-one, well, all the people that are watching this probably know Sue, and it gets a little intense sometimes.
I'm very gentle. I'm gentle with everybody occasionally.
It does get a little intense. So when you're at a clinic, sure, you have your friends and you can go away and have a little chat and whatever. You still take it extremely seriously, but you can go off and practice something, and you know, there's other people there, they're going off and practicing their thing. It's not that just, oh my God, I have to get this right, I'm under the pump. You can go away in a little corner, practice what you're doing, come back. So we'll say, okay, that's really good, you've worked on that, you've perfected that now. You know, you may need to drop your outside rein a little bit, or, you know, you'll just tweak it up. Whereas when you're in a lesson, it can be quite intense.
So I don't look away.
No, she knows everything. Even on
don't.
the far side, she knows that you've done something.
Hey Vicky, hey Sarah, hey David. I'm sorry, I'm not really intense. I'm a very gentle person during lessons. She's just exaggerating, I'm hoping. So we'll look at that.
Well, actually, the intense probably comes from me because I know I've got that 1 hour, and I want it to be really good, and I want to ride as best as I possibly can on that day. Mm-hmm. It disappoints me if I don't get the concept that we're working on, because I do put a lot of time and energy in it, and I just think this is my time, this is my lesson, let's get it done, let's do it. So I put the pressure on me. It's probably not Sue, but.
And do you find, I was a clinic junkie myself, and I used to find I would listen to whoever was teaching the clinic, and I'd be experimenting with what they were telling other people, and I would come away with so much more stuff than just in a private lesson. Do you find that happens to you?
Yeah, it does, because it's actually the things that happen at clinics is that when you're riding by yourself a lot, when you're riding by yourself a lot, which I do, and also ride with friends, I'm not an ideal no friends, when you ride by yourself, sometimes you get a little bit down on yourself and think, oh, why do I keep doing this? Why is this happening? Why? Then you go to a clinic and you see other people are doing it, and it's like, oh my God, I'm not the Lone Ranger. This person does this person does this. So, okay, they've fixed it, I can fix it.
That's true. If someone else can do it and you can do it, what stops you from being the same? Yeah, I didn't think you and Nigel no friends. Well, so what have I got here? So, your regular lessons, has that impacted on your life outside of riding?
A little bit, because monetary too. You have to make sure the money's there every week to do it. You know, and that's always, you know, that's the thing that drives us why we work, because we earn money. And you got to commit to that. It's not easy. If you actually sat down and thought about the money that you spent on lessons for the whole year.
Don't. Out there, those in the horse world, don't. Please don't do that. If you sit down and think about that for the whole year, you'll probably do something nasty to yourself.
But at the end of it,
hey, Lyndall,
you've spent that money, and you can actually see where you have spent that money. Because when you do look back at some of your old photos or video footage, or you see someone else that might be riding a little bit similar to you, but at the start of where you were 2 years ago, you can go, okay, those 2 years of lessons really have paid off, because I'm so much further than where I was.
And the reason, folks, that we're asking questions like that, like have regular lessons impacted your life outside of riding, is, as we all know, that it's not positive all the time. It's not sweetness and light all the time, and there's not smiles and hugs and kisses. that things will impact. They'll impact on our family. Husbands will get upset. Children get angry too about you not being there when they want you there. There is the monetary side of it. So there's always sacrifice. There's nothing for nothing. So
it's time away from your family sometimes. Not for me because I do it on Tuesday when they're at school and my husband's at work. But I might go to a clinic on a weekend and that's family time. So you just got to weigh those things up. But you also you do. Everyone is. This is our one life, and you've got to live it. If that's what you want to do, well, you put everything that you can into it within reason.
Yeah, definitely within reason. There's always a balance, isn't there? So, how do you cope with the disappointments of writing?
Well, that's actually a really good question, and I have had a few disappointments. I've gone like 50 steps forward, and then I've gone about 100 steps backwards at different times. But it's like anything in life, you love something, you really want it to succeed, so you might sit down and have a little bit of a cry, and you might say, oh my God, why is this happening to me? We all do it.
I'm not coming to your pity party unless it's alcohol.
You just have to get over it. Like, allow yourself a little bit of time to go, oh my God, that was so bad, that was really bad, what was I thinking, why did I do that, we've worked so much harder than this, I'm a better writer than this. You can throw all that stuff around in your mind. Give yourself a bit of time and get over it, and then get out and ride your horse again the next day. Start again.
Cool. Yes, good attitude to it, because we all do have disappointments.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. So with horse riding, with lessons, and my views on horse sports, all horse sports, well, they're not all equal in my mind. I have my favourites, but I don't care if you do a different horse sport to me. That's your choice, and I think it keeps the industry going around. If someone is a show jumper and someone else is a camp drafter, that's great. That's just... we're all different, but we're all riding horses, so we have a common interest, but we have different interests. So knowing that there's all these different interests, would you recommend people get involved in the horse world?
Well, I think that's your own private thing, really, but I have only had good things from my involvement in the last couple of years, and gotten involved in a new sport here on the coast, Western Dressage, which I really love, and I've gotten a lot out of just the short time that I've been involved with it. I think it's like anything in life. You have to be involved. You can't be a spectator. You can't be a spectator in your life. You got to take the plunge and jump in. That's what you got to do. Get out, swim out to the breakers.
It has, and like we talked about earlier, like attracts like. So
yeah.
I find myself, I get involved in horse sports. My loves. I love reining. I like Western Dressage, being a control freak. So those things, those people that I meet in those sports are usually similar-minded. So. And they'll be similar-minded, not just, I find in riding, they'll be similar-minded in other aspects of their life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure, because that's why we were all kind of attracted to the same, that's why we were all doing Western Dressage. We came along, we watched. I know, personally, I went to a show night. It was getting people to come and have a look and see what this new sport of Western Dressage was. It was at that was at Burpengary, not Caboolture.
Oh, 2013.
Sue was riding, and I looked at her and went, I want to ride like that.
Oh, thank you. That's very flattering.
Viv was there, and there were some other lovely riders as well. But I saw Sue ride, and I just said,
it was a fun night. We had fun music.
That's what I want to do. This lady can ride, and I need some lessons from it.
That's very flattering. Thank you. So, to wind up the interview, do you have anything you want to tell the people who've stuck by us and watched through it? Hey, Kim.
I just think if you have a dream, work really hard. Just go for it, because we're all getting older every single day, and live a big life. If you want to do something, go for it. Cool. It might take a really long time, and you might have to work really hard for it. If that's what you want, just do it, because it does set you up for other things in your life as well. It's not just all about horses.
That's true. It does. I have met wonderful people on this journey with my horses. I've met other people that have just been amazing and carried me in a different direction, which has then brought me back and changed my learning and my viewpoint with horses.
For sure, because there's always something new to learn. Always.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for agreeing to this, because this is very big, putting yourself out here, although we've got a nice little bit of smudge happening. And thank you for our viewers for coming in and watching off and on. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Kim, Wendy. I can't see who's above there. Thank you, everybody who's come and watched, and we will try to do this hopefully monthly, introduce you to another person that I ride with, because what I want everyone to understand is that We're all basically the same. We all have other things in our life. We all have to make time and effort. And it's nice to know that there's other people you may not have met that are going through the exact same thing as you, and this is how they cope with it. Okay, remember, ride with a smile, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
See ya.